All right. Hey, June, are you there? We are live. All right. Oh, I can see it. Are you there? We are live. All right. You always got to play a little Beyonce.
Love it. Love it.
Welcome to Her Power Plays with Kailei Carr. I'm so excited. This is our inaugural kickoff of Her Power Plays for our herpowerlist.biz community and visitors. We are so excited to have you with us tonight. This is a value add for our community of women entrepreneurs who have listed their businesses, their podcasts, their blogs, their creative endeavors on the Her Power List platform so that they can be found, be seen, and be on the list and find the clients and customers who find them and take that off of your plate. And that is really the ethos behind Her Power List, is to ensure that our listers get the customer traction that they need, that the people who need the goods, the services, the products that you sell find you, and that we provide wonderful services to you as well to help you succeed in business. And so Her Power Play is born with that exact purpose in mind, of ensuring that we have great information for you. And tonight, Kailei Carr is going to be presenting on power presence. And I'm so excited because Kailei and I were both at a conference recently, and we were both speaking, and we wanted to see each other, and we looked at the schedule, and of course we were scheduled at the exact same time. So thank you again for joining. So excited. So I'm going to read a quick, brief bio, and then I'm going to get out of the way and turn it over to Kailei. Kailei Carr is the founder and CEO of the Asbury Group, LLC. She is a speaker and advisor to women interested in raising their profile, elevating their image, and performing their best in order to achieve their professional goals. Since 2005, she's been writing and speaking about professional development, digital marketing. She's appeared at various conferences and in media, and she also uses her marketing prowess, digital media chops, and style expertise to coach professional women to develop their power presence. So sister power hustlers, sister power hustler listers, Her Power listers, all of the above. You are really in for a treat tonight. Kailei holds a BA from Emory University and an MBA from the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. And in 2015, she was named one of HelloBeautiful.com's 25 Women to Know. Her podcast, which is a must-listen podcast, Beyond the Business Suit, can be found on iTunes and Stitcher. Kailei Carr, welcome to Her Power Plays. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Michelle. I am great. I'm excited to get started, and excuse me, just so honored to be a part of this.
I know. I'm so honored to have you. Really looking forward to taking great notes and getting our power presence up. Gonna say hello to our girl Marie Smith of Taj Cosmetics. June Marie, thank you for joining. So happy to have you with us. And we are gonna go ahead and get started. Kailei, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I am going to go away, and I will be in the chat room, and whatever you need, I am here. Thank you so much, Kailei.
Thank you, Michelle. So I will go ahead and share my screen. So it's going to look a little bit crazy as I am bringing this up, but just bear with me here. Excuse me. So great. Well, I am so excited to be here, as I mentioned, and thank you, Michelle, again for having me and for that great introduction. Just wanted to give a heads up to you guys who are joining in here that I'm fighting a little cough, so I'm going to hope to keep it at bay during our time here today as much as possible, so just bear with me there. But I am excited to talk about power presence. And today I'll be talking about specifically how to elevate your image, your presence, and your personal brand to boost your business. Excuse me. So you are in the right place if you're a business owner who is client-facing or public-facing. You are seeing slow growth when it comes to your business, although you're great at what you do. Also, if you're a side hustler and want to take your business to the next level, or if you're an ambitious woman who wants to set yourself up for a long, successful career. So hopefully you see yourself in at least one of these listings here. Now, Michelle gave you a little bit of background on me and my bio, so I wanted to give a little bit more of my story, but I also, as we're getting started, I wanted to just mention a couple of things to you. Number one, if you have questions, you can feel free to ask questions in the chat box. Excuse me, if I can see it, I will answer it. If not, then I'll go ahead and wait till the end, and I'll have a time for some Q&A at the end. And also, I just encourage you to really dedicate this time to listening in, to taking some copious notes, to really digging deep into this workshop, because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to develop, to learn, and to, really get the most out of this experience as possible. So that being said, let me just give you a little bit of background, a little bit more background on me as we get started here. Now, excuse me, as Michelle mentioned, I am an advisor to professional, executive, and entrepreneur women. I consult leaders, emerging leaders, and entrepreneurs on their image and their presence. And I haven't been doing this my entire career as a business. I actually started my career in corporate America, where I was at for over 15 years. And during my time in corporate America, I started in human resources. I went into management consulting, which I stayed at for several years before deciding to make a career change to marketing. Got my MBA from the Kellogg School of Management, and from then on, for the remainder of my corporate career, I worked in marketing, in the marketing capacity, almost exclusively with digital media. And I worked with media companies and technology companies. And actually, when I left corporate America in 2013, I was leading a department at a technology company that was owned by a large media conglomerate. During my time there, I worked with some of the biggest, most recognizable brands in helping them develop their digital strategies, their marketing strategies, and their social media strategies. Now, I've always had a passion for style and fashion, and have that's something that I've even blogged about since 2005. So I was so excited to kind of take in all of these inputs from my experience in my career and really make a business out of this. As Michelle mentioned, I also have a podcast called Beyond the Business Suit. And my story really, I wasn't always the best on paper. I may not have had the highest GPAs. I may not have had the highest GMAT score, but I was still able to get into a top business school. I was still able to get business opportunities even when I wasn't, when I didn't have all of the right credentials or qualifications on paper. And I also realized throughout my career that there were a lot of things that helped and hindered women from advancing in their careers. And a lot of those things did not have to do with having the qualifications or the experience. It was more about their image, their presence, their personal brands, their reputation, the corporate culture, excuse me, and how they fit into that. And those were things that were not taught in classrooms. They were not discussed in performance reviews. And they were things that tended to come naturally to me, which is why I wanted to devote my business to doing that. And I found that even in my business now, I've been able to build my business on having a strong reputation, on having a strong personal brand and presence. So let's talk about power presence and what it is. So let's first start with the textbook version of power presence. Power is the great or marked ability to do or act, strength, might, authority, and ascendancy. Presence is the ability to project a sense of ease, poise, or self-assurance, especially the quality or manner of a person's bearing before an audience or personal appearance. So when we combine power and presence together, we get power presence, which is using our voice, our image, our space and body to demonstrate a perception of confidence, of leadership abilities, and of authority. So I have image and confidence highlighted here or bolded here because those are two areas that we will definitely discuss today. Now, there are many components that that assemble the Power Presence program, and I just wanted to show some of these here, and I'll talk a little bit later about the program that I have created. But in terms of these 5 circles here, today we'll be discussing online image, in-person image, confidence, and a little bit with communication. We're not going to talk about professional network, but we are going to have the foundation of all of this be personal branding. And that really sets the foundation for everything that we will discuss when it comes to power presence. So why is this important anyway? Well, some people say, well, presence, that's kind of a nice to have. Like if somebody has powerful presence, that sounds good, but not everybody should have that. That should be more of a luxury. That doesn't even really impact the bottom line, but that's not true. A powerful presence leads to making a positive impression. When we make positive impressions, that leads to having a good reputation. When we make a good reputation, when we have a good reputation, then that leads to people referring us. And when we get referrals, we get new business. And I've seen this myself. I've been able to build my business mostly on referrals. I would say 90% of my one-on-one clients, as well as my corporate and conference clients, have been through word of mouth. So it absolutely can impact our bottom line. Furthermore, a poor image can be expensive. So, excuse me, having a poor image can result in losing or missing out on customers. It can poorly impact the digital impression that we're making and more. The truth is that people are not too forgiving or tolerant of having a poor image or presence. They don't care that we can't afford a graphic designer. They don't care that we're so busy that we don't have time to get our hair done or go shopping or have enough disposable income to revamp our wardrobe. People don't really care about that. All they know is that if there's a poor image, they don't want to have anything to do with it. Also, first impressions are lasting ones. We've all heard the saying that we only get one chance to make a first impression, and that's true. Now, it is possible to change someone's mind. If we do have a bad day, we meet somebody for the first time, it is possible to change their minds, but it's a lot easier to confirm what they already believe. So my mission with you and my mission with my clients is to help them show up in a way that's consistent with how they're delivering. Now, I'm making an assumption here. I'm making an assumption that if you're listening here, if you're joining in, that you produce quality work, that you deliver, that you are good at what you do. So that's that. I'm not talking about let's pull the wool over people's eyes and make them believe something that's not there. No, I'm assuming that if you are a part of this community, that you do good work. And so what we want to do is make sure that what you show people is consistent with that. And then finally, confidence is something that's plaguing women, and the lack of confidence is impacting our presence, it's impacting our progression, and it's also impacting our potential, which is why we're going to be talking about that as well. So that's why I want to talk to you today. So by the end of this workshop, you will learn how to develop your personal brand, how to make the right impression online and in person, some key tools to help you look like a pro, even if you're just getting started, and some tips to help you communicate more confidently. This will all be under the foundation of key learnings that I've gathered from research and working with powerful women, from executives to entrepreneurs. So let's start by talking about defining your personal brand. And this is where I start with all of my clients. I can't develop anybody's image without understanding what they want to communicate, because your image is essentially visual communications, right? So we need to understand what our personal brand is so we know how to communicate that out to the world. So what is a personal brand? A personal brand is, and this is the Wikipedia definition, the ongoing process of establishing a prescribed image or impression in the minds of others about an individual. It's essentially our reputation. It's what people think about us and what people say about us when we are not in the room. So it's the associations we have. So oftentimes I'll ask people, what do you think about when you hear the brand Apple? A lot of people will say innovation, they'll say good design, status, and things like that. But what they don't say is the iPhone, the iPad, MacBook, because those are products. What we think about when we think about brands are the associations. And that's the same case when it comes to our personal brands. Now, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we have the challenge and benefit of thinking about two types of brands. There's our personal brand, and then there's also our business brands. And we need to keep both of those things in mind. So why is branding so important in entrepreneurship? Well, one thing is that strong brands ignite businesses. Weak brands are forgettable or they're dismissible. And we don't want to be either of those, right? And though our personal brands may be separate from our business's brand, so as I said, we have two brands. We have a personal brand, but we also have our business's brand. We may still be the face of the brand. When people, as we're getting started, people may still think of us first. So it's important for us to be able to develop our personal brands in addition to our business's brands. We also want to make sure that we understand where we in the business stands in the minds of others. That's really important to understand what associations they already have. And then also our business's brands associations will let people know if their business is for them. So if they come to our website for the first time, they see our logo for the first time, they're going to make an assumption of whether or not this is for me. So what goes into a personal brand? Some of the things that go into a personal brand are reputation, image, associations, presence, assets, and work quality. I also want to cover some things that it's not, because personal branding is a buzzword right now. We hear about it in a lot of places, and there are a lot of misconceptions out there. So one thing is that excuse me, some people think that it's exclusive. I've even seen articles out there that say, should I, or should you, or should you not have a personal brand? Let me tell you something. We all have a personal brand. We all have one. It's not exclusive. Now, should we, or how much should we develop it? That's a question you could ask, but not should you or should you not have one, because we all have one. Also, it's not only focused on self-promotion. Now, I think we've probably all seen some people out there who all they do is self-promote. And that puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. But let me tell you something. Even though there is a, excuse me, there is a delicate line between, overly promoting yourself and not, if people don't know what you're doing, they can't help you. They can't refer you. When I first got started, it was my Facebook community, my LinkedIn community, who saw what I was doing and wanted to send me business. So my first two speaking engagements came from just people seeing what I was doing. And because I had already established that good reputation, people wanted to give me business, even though I had changed careers. Excuse me. And then also, yeah, I hear you. I see dear hubby one says, raise his hand, self-promotion irks me. Yeah, and there definitely is a delicate balance between, only promoting yourself and balancing that with other things. But it's important to promote ourselves as business owners. But if we're only self-promoting, that's not good. And then finally, it's not a passing fad. It's a buzzword right now. Personal branding, that's what we're calling it right now. But before it was personal branding, it was called something else. So since there have been people, there's been reputation. So even though the term may go out of style, it will be called something else, I promise you. So I want you to get hopefully you already have your notebooks out, or at least you're typing somewhere some notes. And I want you to write these down. If I ask, excuse me, if I ask 10 people who know you to describe you, what 3 to 5 adjectives would they use? What 3 to 5 adjectives would you like for people to use to describe you? So the first question is, what 3 to 5 adjectives do you think people would use today if I asked 10 people? And then the second one is, what would you like for them to use? Because what they would say today may not be the same as what you would like for them to say about you. And then what 3 to 5 adjectives would people most commonly use to describe your business? So think about that, write those down. So I'm just going to give you a minute to do that, and then I will come back with a couple of things for some homework for you to do after this workshop. Okay, so hopefully that you've at least started to write those down, and at least, you can feel free to take a screenshot of this, write the questions down if you want to take some more time to complete them. But two things that I really encourage you to do are to, excuse me, actually ask 8 to 10 people to describe you in 3 to 5 adjectives. We're guessing here on how people will describe us, but it's such a powerful exercise to actually ask people to do that and see what you get back. I've done this and it was very eye-opening. I mean, many of the adjectives they used were similar to the ones that I had on my list, but then there were others that were commonly used, like in the top 2 or 3, that I didn't even have on my list, that I decided to add to my list. And then also ask 8 to 10 people in your target audience to describe your business's brand using 3 to 5 adjectives. That's really powerful too. So asking people who are actually people you would like to buy from you, what they think about your brand, your business's brand. And then finally, come up with your list, put it somewhere, write it down, take a picture, put it as your wallpaper on your phone, on your computer, so you can continuously refer back to these things, because these are your brand attributes. These are the things through which, this is essentially the filter through which everything you do should go through, whether it's your wardrobe, how you present yourself, how you speak, your website, your visual communications, any logo that you have for your business. Everything should go through these words so that you can make sure that you're being consistent and that you're being true to not only your personal brand, but also your business's brand. So before we go on to the next section, I'm looking at the questions here. I know you guys are a little bit behind on here. There's a little bit of a lag, but do you have any questions for me? Okay, I'll continue to check back in case you do. So now let's talk about making the right impression online and in person. So, did you know that it only takes 7 seconds to make a first impression in person? That's it, 7 seconds. That's all we get. So let me ask you this. How much time do you think that we get to make a first impression online? So if we get 7 seconds in person, how much time do you think we have online? And I see there's a little bit of lag, so I'll give you some time to catch up there. Anybody? I know usually when I ask this question, people say, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds. Well, we only get 40 milliseconds. That's it. 40 milliseconds. That is all we get to make a first impression online. So if somebody is coming to our website for the first time, somebody comes to our profile page on Twitter, they see an image that we put out on Instagram, that is all we get to make a first impression. And people, when we meet somebody, when you meet somebody in person, chances are we may have an opportunity to have additional touch points with that person in order to change their mind or make an even better impression if we didn't make the best impression possible in those first 7 seconds. However, online, when people are interacting with us online, we could easily lose a customer if we're not showing up in the right way. So that's why it's so important to pay some attention to our digital presence. But we'll get to the digital presence, but let me first start with our in-person presence. So making a good impression in person. So what goes into making an impression in person? That some of the things that go into that are overall presence, behavior, appearance, and that's really our image, and our voice. So why is image important anyway? First of all, 55% of first impressions are based on appearance. Now, when I talk about appearance here, I'm not saying, how beautiful we are or how conventionally attractive we are. I'm talking about how polished and put together we are. How do we appear? How put together are we? Those first impressions are based on that. Also, without any other information, the impression we make and how we show up are all we have. It would be great to live in a world where when we meet somebody, they know the quality of our work, our character, and all of that. But without any other information, that's just impossible to know, right? So instead, we need to show up in a way that tells them, without us telling them, excuse me, what we are about. And that's why our image is so important. So 3 reasons why our image matters. Number 1, it impacts how others perceive us. Oh, Maria, I see you saying you're going to shut yours down right now. Well, let's wait until the end of this workshop, because you might have some ideas on what you can do to improve it. So it impacts how others perceive us. Our image is the lens through which people see us. And like I said, without any other information, that's all that we have, right? Our image is all that we have. Our image is also a shortcut to explain what we're about. And that's why so many professions use uniforms as a way to show people our authority. So judges, firefighters, police officers, you know, a lot of these professions use their uniforms as a shortcut. And a lot of people think that how you do one thing is how you do all things. So if you show up looking disheveled, people may very well assume that you do disheveled work, that your work will be disheveled. So, you know, thinking about how you show up is a really good way to understand how you're being perceived. Also, and this fascinates me, our image can impact our performance. There was a study, and actually, let me just take a sip of my tea here. There was a study at Northwestern University in 2012, and they call it the White Lab Coat Study. And basically, in the study, they did a couple of experiments. In one experiment, they had two groups. They had one group that was asked to wear white, white lab coats, and another group was asked to just wear the clothes that they walked in with, so their street clothes. Both groups were asked to take an assessment, and after they looked at the results, they saw that the people who wore the white lab coats performed better than the people who wore their street clothes. So they wanted to test this further. So in the next experiment, they used three groups. One group had on white lab coats, one group had on white coats that were identical to the lab coats, but were told that they were painter's coats. And the third group was asked to wear just, you know, their regular street clothes. And again, and with that group, the group that was asked to wear the street clothes, they could look at a white lab coat before taking the exam. So they wanted to see, okay, if they looked, if they saw the lab coat, would that have any impact? Again, they found that those who wore the white lab coat performed better than the other two groups. So what does that mean? That means that what we can take away from that is what we wear does impact how we perform. So how that translates into what we do is, if we have a big meeting, if we have a keynote speech that we're giving, if we have a big presentation, if we have a big client meeting, we should dress the part. If we are looking to take an exam, maybe there's some certification that we need, think about what you wear. I'm not saying wear the white lab coat, but wear something. What we wear can absolutely impact how we perform. So that's why the approach of power dressing is so important and effective, because when we put on that power outfit, we actually perform better. We don't only feel better, we perform better. And then number three is that it can impact our income. And again, I'm just sharing the data here. Women with an appropriate professional image receive 10% higher income than those who do not. And this was very interesting. Excuse me. Women who wear makeup can earn over 30% more in pay than non-makeup wearing workers, which I thought that was pretty fascinating. So again, I'm just a messenger. I'm not sure if anybody listening in, if you guys don't like wearing makeup, but there is some benefits in doing so. Now, you know, you can say what you want about her father. I won't get into politics here, but I do like this quote from Ivanka Trump, which says, "You want your image to support what you stand for and who you are, and not distract from it or be the primary narrative." And that is what we want. We want our image to support what we stand for. I'm not saying we need to power dress so that all eyes are on us. That's not the goal. We just want we want our image and our appearance to be aligned with the quality of our work and what we stand for. So here are some instant ways that you can polish up your image. And one is paying attention to details. And, you know, I actually don't keep my nails polished because I don't want to end up looking like this person on this screen here. I easily chip polish, so usually I have on clear or nothing. So I'm not saying you have to keep your nails polished. I'm just saying let's not look like this, right? Let's make sure that we're paying attention to the details. Also, we just heard the stat about how women who wear makeup make more. And it's not about wearing a lot of makeup, because we can go overboard there too. But even if you're not comfortable with wearing makeup, I recommend that you wear at least what I call the CLM routine, which is concealer, lip color, mascara. Just doing those 3 things, which shouldn't add more than 5 minutes to your beauty routine, can make a world of difference. It can elevate your appearance easily with having that concealer, the right concealer, a lip color or a lip gloss, and mascara. Also, getting your clothes tailored to fit you. So, let's say you're a size 10. Not every size 10 is going to fit you the same. Not every excuse me, not every brand's size 10 is going to fit every person who can fit it the same. So, I see you, Marie. So, the best thing that you can do is to find something that fits you at the biggest point. So, for instance, I carry my weight in my hips and my thighs. So, I need to look for pants and skirts that fit me around my hips and thighs the best, that has, that fits that properly. And then I can go to a tailor and get the waist taken in, get the length taken up. And then I end up not investing that much more, but then I look like I have custom made clothes. So getting clothes tailored to fit, finding a good tailor is a really great way to make sure that you look polished. Also, dressing for your body shape. Again, I see you, Marie. Yes, I love makeup. I love makeup. So dressing for your body shape is really important. So before I was pregnant, I was an hourglass. Right now, I guess I'm more of an apple right now, or a pear. But so the way that I would typically dress my body is to show off my waistline, is to, wear dresses that came in at the waist, cinch the waist, or wear a belt over a shirt to show that off. If you are, for instance, an inverted triangle, like the second to last image here, then you want to make sure that you can add balance to your bottom half. So you can wear things like fit and flare dresses, or even wide leg pants to bring some balance. So dressing for your body shape, understanding that not every silhouette is going to fit everybody, not every trend is going to fit everybody, is really important. Also, making polished and professional your default, regardless of what the dress code is, whether it's casual or business formal, you can always look polished and professional, and always err on that side. And also, ladies, making sure that we have the right foundation. And I talk about this to many of my clients, most of my clients, about this, and a lot of them don't like the conversation, but I'm going to still share it. Having a properly fitted bra and shapewear is so important. It can make a world of difference. Over 80% of the women in this country, at least, wear the wrong size bra. So going to just Nordstrom and getting sized appropriately, getting the right size bra, can make a world of difference. It can even make you look smaller. Also, wearing shapewear really can make a huge difference to just smooth those things out. Not all of us need it, but most of us do. So I love me some Spanx and highly recommend them. So, oh, I see you. Dear hubby one, I think it's LaDonna. You said you're old school. You still wear a slip. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So here are some takeaways for presenting a polished image. Number one is to dress for the performance outcome you want. So like we talked about, our image does, or what we wear does impact our performance. When you're feeling bad, dress up. I know when I'm feeling bad, oftentimes I just want to wear something comfortable and cozy and nothing too bright, just something comfortable. And those are actually the times when we need to dial up our makeup. We need to put on those bright colors and put a little bit more attention into our hair, because that way not only will that prevent other people from saying, "Ooh, Kylie, you look tired, you must be sick," but it also will make us feel better. Also, power dressing has a purpose, so let's use it. So find that outfit in your closet that when you put it on, you just feel like $1,000,000. You feel like you can conquer the world. And if you don't have a lot of those pieces in your closet, then that's where your focus should be. And also, we've all heard this: dress for the job we want, not for the job you have. And I'll go one step further: dress for the business you want, not the business you have. And also, I just wanted to mention this number one pitfall that I found with women, and that is that I hear this from so many clients who say, "Well, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait." And it's most of the time, 95% of the time, it's, "I'm going to wait until I lose weight." And it's usually, "I'm going to wait until I, lose that baby weight or lose those extra 20 pounds or what have you." And here's the thing. If we meet somebody for the first time, they don't know what we used to look like. All they know is what we look like today. So let's commit to ourselves that we're going to show up in the best way possible today. And if we do lose that weight, that's great. We can, go shopping and and find things, or go to the tailor, But let's not just wait until we get to our fighting weight to pay attention to our image, because we can be missing out on opportunities. So let's move on to making a good impression online. So our digital presence does matter. 77% of people search for someone online before meeting them in person. So I do this, before I meet a client, a new colleague, or a collaborator for the first time, I'm searching for them online. I'm searching for them on LinkedIn. I want to see what connections we have, what they're about, any information I can find, and I'm not alone. This is what we do. And even down to employers. 51% of employers have decided not to hire somebody because of the information that they found on the internet. So it's good to think about what our digital footprint says about us. So one thing that I encourage all of you to do is to conduct a digital audit if you haven't done this recently. And what you can do to do this is to Google yourself, find out what you see out there. I suggest doing this at least once a month to see what's out there. Also, think about, do your profiles communicate the right messages? Are they aligned with your personal brand and those attributes that we discussed earlier? Are your privacy settings set appropriately? Now, I will let you know, and I will just mention that just because you have privacy settings doesn't mean that people can't see it. Doesn't mean that you're completely protected. You can have a private Instagram page and then create a meme about somebody you don't like, and someone who is on the inside and is approved to see your Instagram page could easily take a screenshot and share that out. So just because you have privacy settings doesn't mean that you're completely protected. So the best rule of thumb is to really think about what you're posting and make sure that you are comfortable with it getting into everybody's hands. Also, do you have Google Alerts set up? And if you don't, then I recommend you going to google.com/alerts and setting up alerts that can trigger emails to you anytime that there's a new listing on Google, excuse me, that's related to any of the criteria you establish, whether it's your name and your business name, or just your business name, anything that you decide